Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Dan Reevy. I'm General Manager of Business Development here at TRAISR, and we are thrilled and delighted that you're all able to join us this morning for what is first of our many series externally to convey the many innovations and features and benefits of TRAISR. What we wanted to focus on today is something that we have discovered over the last 12 or 18 months, and whether it's COVID related or not, or was accelerated because of COVID, is our partners in municipal government wanting to message better and to communicate better with their residents, their clients. So we've worked very hard with some of our existing clients, new clients, internally on working on what we're calling our Citizen Central portal, which assists municipal government in giving access to their local teams so they can report problems or get questions, can make payments for certain municipal services, etc. So that's what we're going to focus on today. First of all, no question's a silly one. I do ask that maybe you either wait till the end of our presentation to ask a question, or if you want to use the chat feature and write your question there, and my colleague Jed Kaminsky will be monitoring that. Joining us and speaking today will be two of my colleagues, our Chief Operating Officer and Architect of TRAISR, Brian Burdell, as well as my colleague and our Superior Senior Business Analyst, Eric Haflett. And we also have a client of ours, Nick Valla from Middletown Township, Bucks County, who's going to be sharing his views and experiences using TRAISR in this specific arena. So with that being said, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. I ask everyone to mute their mics while we're doing this. And again, any question, please use the chat feature, and we will address them at the end of the presentation. That said, Brian, do you want to add any thoughts?
No, just a quick background. Well, yes, just a quick background on TRAISR. We've really been we're working in custom software development. Just for those of you who don't know us, for McMahon Associates, an engineering firm, which we're still technically a part of, but TRAISR has broken off into its own company, its own LLC, because we've been very successful since we really instituted TRAISR and re-engineered the custom products that we had been building for years. We really started that process in 2013. That's kind of when we started reprogramming, re-engineering the software that we had to make it enterprise-based software. And we started out with just like the people we knew, our friendly clients, with 4 or 5 for the first couple of years to kind of fine-tune it. And since that time, we've gotten up to over 60 municipalities. We're working with some partner engineering firms as well to increase that bandwidth. And now we're doing these webinars to really kind of expand our footprint. We were keeping it local until we were confident enough that we could really go outside of our market. Now, granted, our market for McMahon Associates is all up and down the East Coast. We have 13 offices in from New England down to Florida. So just wanted to give you a quick background. We can always do a follow-up demo with anyone who wants one and get a little bit more in depth. This is just really to show you one of the features of TRAISR. There are many. Eric's going to run through a few slides and then jump into a demo, and I'll probably chime in with some color commentary here and there.
So brief set of slides, and then we'll jump right into a demo here. So first of all, thanks for being here. I wanted to introduce kind of overall architecture of the system first. This slide kind of shows a typical example of what we see when we come into a municipality to kind of figure out how they work. Typically people kind of in their own lane, using their own tools and their own data sets, just to kind of do their work. Not a whole lot of sharing across departments or sharing of resources. So TRAISR was kind of conceived with the idea of things like common interfaces, sharing of data, sharing of resources, whether it's devices, computer software, hardware, and then integration of all that stuff together into a common interface. It is a GIS system, and so it is fully integrated with that. GIS pretty much at its heart. So you know, anything in TRAISR has kind of a spatial component to it. availability for anyone in the field on pretty much any device that's internet connected, and of course a single source for support, because we realize that's important. We don't want you all waiting for us to do your work, so we really emphasize the support aspect of Tracer. Just a quick look at the interface. It is web-based, nothing to install on your desktop or anywhere. All you need is the URL and a username and password. You're in. All the functionality is contained here in a single screen interface. I like to show this next slide for kind of overall architecture of the system. There at the bottom, Asset Central is the GIS heart that I mentioned. All of your assets are there. We like to say that Tracer is asset agnostic, which means we don't care if it's the system doesn't have like special modules for, say, stormwater or highway or sanitary, sewer, anything like that. An asset is an asset is an asset to Tracer, so it all goes in that one spot, and then it's managed from there. Fully integrated with Esri products. I'll get into that in a second, but this interface you see here does allow for GIS editing right through the browser, which is quite the highlight. I don't like to skip that. I like to mention that up top. So built on top of that heart are the two kind of workflow modules at the top. Work Central, which is what we'll kind of be focusing on today in this webinar, typically used in the public works realm to do things like work orders for inspections of facilities, maintenance, repairs, things like that. Some places, some towns like to use that also for things like code violations and inspections in that realm. So we'll get into that here in a moment. Permit Central is code enforcement for building permits. Think of everything from application through paying fees to plan reviews, inspections in the field, certificates of occupancy, that full process from start to finish for your building permits, basically. Operation Central is our live vehicle location tracking. We integrate that with centerline data, so you can establish history of where your vehicles have been over time, typically used for snow removal, trash collection, things like that. Citizen Central is the other aspect that we'll focus on today. It's our public interaction portal. It's really grown to be quite diverse and functional as far as not only the functionality you'll see today with the Citizen Reporter that I'm going to demonstrate, but also things like contractor registrations, permit applications online where they can apply for a permit and pay for it right there, pushing web maps and information out to the public, sharing anything that's in Tracer out to the web for your residents to have access to. It's all built modular in a kind of a modular way, which means you only get the modules that you need that you intend to use. I mentioned Esri. If you don't know Esri, you should. I'm guessing most people know who Esri is. We integrate with them, so any data you have there is in Tracer. Anything in Tracer is there. And then, of course, we use kind of industry standard Microsoft SQL Server for the rest of the application. It's all integrated together. Without getting too techy there, one last look at the interface. Last slide here. I'd like to highlight a few things. First of all, ease of use. We realize that when we come into a town, we see the full spectrum of computer savvy individuals in the town, if you know what I'm saying. And so we like to make it sure it's easy to use for everybody. Anytime we add a button or a function, we want to make sure that it's not only functional but easy to use and easy to learn and easily understood. There is a lot of similarities across all the modules, whether you're doing a work order or a permit or an inspection or you name it. It's all pretty much a similar interface, so it's easy to use in that regard. It integrates as deeply as you'd like it to with your organization. Any process, we brought all kinds of processes to Tracer that we didn't really conceive of in the beginning, but based on the needs of the clients that they expressed, we were able to build workflows to let them do that in Tracer. Because all the workflows are there, it means all the data is there. It's a single tool, so there's no double handling. There's no maintenance of multiple sources of data. It's all kind of put together in one place. The cost is it's done as a subscription model. So think of it as a monthly subscription cost once you're through the initial startup effort. there's a cost associated with that as well. But once you're there up and running, we support TRAISR from top to bottom. So no additional needs for a server or anything like that, and no help from no help is required, I should say, from your IT staff. And I'll show you how you get a hold of our support team once I get into TRAISR here. So that's the quick overview of the slideshow. I wanted to jump right into the demonstration here. I've logged into Middletown Township. This is Nick's town. I'll ask him to say a couple words here in a minute, but I really just wanted to show you, before I jump into the demo, I want to highlight that these are all, there's a lot of configurability existing in this setup. I'm just going to reload. Oh, there it goes. So this is Middletown's website. I believe they just rolled out this new website. It's nice, shiny, new website. It looks great. So they wanted a way for their residents to find, to be able to submit requests for service through this new web page. We built what they branded as MT Go. They did a good job of kind of integrating the graphics and making it all seamless with this new website. So configurability-wise, what you'll see once I click off the site it's the result of a lot of work we went through with Nick and his team to really get this configured and make it work the way they want it to. As I click here to open up MT Go, Nick, if you want to say a couple words about the process. I think we kicked this off in what, the April, May timeframe?
Yeah, let me unmute him. Hold up.
Let me click over to MT Go while you're getting going.
He's good. He's good.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, so as Eric said, we really did the legwork of kind of getting this together in April. We rolled it out to the public in May, and we really, we're starting to kind of run with it now. We're finally starting to see all of that hard work pay off. Our staff is getting more comfortable with it, and we are our public works guys. So just for some context, we are the classic example of the, paper-driven. A lot of our guys, they work with their hands. Some of them don't even know what an iPad is in some cases. And so it not only was just a software, learning gap, but it was just a general technology gap. And so we've really come a long way. We've got several hundred work orders that we've pushed through. A lot of those come from the community, especially the last several weeks. There's been a lot of crazy weather going on that's created some issues. And it was kind of coincidental that all of this happened during the COVID crisis. This was a product that we were talking about anyway. And then as soon as COVID-19 hit and we shut down, we kind of had to, look at each other and say, well, how can we serve the residents and how can they contact us? Because we're not sitting at our desk. We can't pick up the phone like we used to. We can still get emails. But this has really revolutionized how we do that. And we've just started to really communicate it out to the public. A lot of the resident interaction has been pretty organic and word of mouth so far, and there's a couple of resident groups that have shared it online. But it is really transformed. It is continuing to transform how we interact with our community. And if we have to shut down again, this is really going to make, especially the Public Works Department as well as a handful of others that are involved, pretty seamless.
Great, thank you, Nick. I appreciate you speaking up here for us today. It was a pretty quick process. We worked with Nick and his team to really get this up and going within about a month or so. And then we're now that's kind of settled in, the dust has settled from that initial effort. We're starting to build out his system in other ways, and I'll show you how that looks in here. So thanks again, Nick. That's nice. So you saw as Nick was talking there, I just clicked into MT Go. This is the portal that we built for them. We call it the Citizen Request Portal. So the first thing you see is this little splash screen. Again, the configurability. I'll do my best to kind of point out all those opportunities of where you can configure the system. But the splash screen, a little welcome message to the residents about what this is for and what's appropriate to post here, and how what happens to those requests once they get in here. Once I close that, I'm presented with a map. Of course, TRAISR is GIS, and so we like to use that whenever we can. So I have down the side here, I have a list of different types of issues that I could submit based on what my issue is as the resident. Some of them actually nest in here. So if I choose code violations, I have a they've broken it into a couple of different types. The same thing, I believe, with streets and sidewalks. So making it a little more specific based on what it is I'm looking to submit here. I'm going to stay with code violations, and I'm just going to pick. I can also kind of zoom in on this map here. I have the ability to kind of move around, just zooming and scrolling my wheel and things like that. We do have some other options here as far as, just what the user's preference is if they want to see imagery or that streets data or whatever they like. But once I can locate my my problem, I want to choose what it is I want to report. I'm just going to pick a noise problem here. So once I pick noise problems, I get the form that we built that's associated with that. When I say I want to report a new one, I hit that green button, and now I'm brought to this form. So it's going to ask me a few things. What's the nature of my request? This is a noise complaint. Maybe it's construction noise or something like that. I'm going to pick that. I can type in a description. I can put my name, my address, my phone number, my email, all that contact information. We actually make those fields required because the township wants to get back to you. They want to close that kind of customer service loop, if you will. They want to get back and say, hey, we addressed your complaint, and then any other communication that they wanted to include with that kind of stuff. So we require all those fields. They also wanted to know whether they live or work or are just visiting the township. So a few different things. I can't say that I live there or work there, so I'm going to say I'm visiting. But you'll see that this actually told me when I didn't put my name in here, it told me please enter, the required stuff. So as I go down that field, that form list, I can fill those in as needed. Again, configurable based on your need. I have the opportunity to add a photo if I want to browse to a photo on my computer. A lot of the work orders I'm seeing in here have photos associated with them, so people are actually using that pretty nicely. And then if I were sitting in the township, I could hit this little target button and it would zoom me to where I am. I am not in the township. I'm close by, but not that close. So instead of hitting that button, I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to zoom into a neighborhood and click on where I'm pretending to be today. I'll click on this property. So you'll see when I zoomed in a little closer, we did add their parcel data in here. So just for reference, so people can see where their properties are. So I can zoom in as close as I like, and if I want to click here, it's going to collect that point. It's going to say I clicked at 7 Sagebrush Lane in Langhorne, PA, and then once I hit report it, it's going to collect all that information from the form. It pushes it into TRAISR. So I don't want to do that. This would be a real one, and I don't want to trigger a bunch of action in Nick's office over there. So I'm gonna stop short of that. But really, once I hit that, I'll get a message that says your request has been submitted. I get a green kind of checkbox that says you've submitted your request, and then off it goes.
Eric, just to add, you might be ready to say it anyway, but just before you get off this screen, this also does work on phones or tablets as well. I mean, if you're on a phone, if you hit the add photo button, it goes right to your camera and it'll upload it. And it'll also locate you. So if you're standing on the spot where there's a problem, it'll just add it directly to it. So just wanted to mention that. But you can always move the problem if you're not standing directly on it as well. So just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brian. So on a phone screen, you would just see this panel down the right side without the map to start. You can kind of switch back and forth between the panel and the map on your phone. But yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. So yeah, once I hit the report it button, I get that acknowledgement that it went in, and then so this is I wanted to show you how it comes into TRAISR. So I have another tab open. I'm just running Google Chrome here. So here's TRAISR. This is Middletown, Bucks County. So before I show you that work order, I just wanted to show you the Asset Central piece just a little bit. I mentioned that in the slideshow. We have a number of assets loaded up for them, and this list will, I'm sure, continue to grow as they build out. Again, they're new to the system as of basically May of this year. So this is a lot of the data we started them with, but they're continuing to build this out as more departments get online. But they're it's standard GIS functionality down the side here. Check the box to show the asset on the map. I'm kind of picking on parcels here, but they have a good amount of data here. If I turn on their zoning districts, it'll color my map based on my zoning map. And then I can actually show or hide the labels on those zones with this toggle. So a lot of functionality here. The beauty of kind of the power of TRAISR really comes into play with what we call our asset dashboard. So if I click any asset, I get this little pop-up that shows me a few kind of key pieces about the property. We did implement a way for the town to click on a link and see what the county says about that property. So if I view this, looks like the county's website is still down. They were down yesterday. But this basically, you can see this takes you to the Bucks County Board of Assessment, so they can do a check on things like ownership and different things like that to make sure that it's updated. But if I hit view info here, we'll open that dashboard. So it opens in the corner here, and this is basically a snapshot of everything that TRAISR knows about this property. In this case, 241 Wheat Sheaf Lane. So I can add an image, I can manage any documents, I can upload and link any documents to it, I can add a new work order, I can add a new permit, I can manage any of the existing records on here through this dashboard. If I want to,
and not to stay too much on assets, I think we could do a follow-up demo with anyone who wants to see that, just for time's sake. But, as Eric said earlier, I know some people jumped on late. You can really manage any asset type within TRAISR. We have a lot of clients we can show what they're doing. It's because some of them are really in depth with assets and work orders, and Middletown's just getting started. They're concentrating on the work orders and the public interaction. So just wanted to throw that in. We can do a follow-up for the Asset Central piece just to kind of get more in depth there. But it's good you're touching on it. I just wanted to throw that in. I didn't mute you. That's weird. Hold on. I didn't mute you.
I muted myself so I could cough while you were talking. Sorry about that.
You can't unmute yourself.
No, you're the boss. So thanks for that, Brian. I'll turn the parcels back on for us to look at work orders. So you'll notice down here on the bottom, we have a little button that's called Work Central. If I click that, it expands and shows me all their list of work orders. Now they do have a couple different versions of this. They have an external one, which is the one I showed you, and then they have an internal one that's going to be used for their internal staff to submit requests to the township. But you'll notice that this list basically corresponds with the list down the side that we started with here. If I come back to this original list, including these ones that are broken out. So this list corresponds with how they come into TRAISR and how they get managed. So when we first devised this list, it was broken up based on the type of requests they get and the way they want to process them internally, as far as what teams they get routed to internally. But if I start to turn these on around town, I find a couple with a bunch. You'll see some of these have little counts on next to them about how many have come in. We get a lot of them for parks. So you'll notice, let me zoom out a little bit. As I turn these on, they'll start to show up as pins on the map. So again, location for everything. The pins on the map show the presence of a work order. So if I click on any of these bubbles, they will open up a list of work orders at that location. In this case, this is one of the park roadside township property problem details. I'm going to pop this open. I'm going to hit edit on it just to make it bigger. You guys can see it a little better on my screen. So this is a work order. We don't have standard kind of work orders that we give to you and we don't have a standard model that says here's how you do a work order. We get that from you. We kind of have you tell us what your work order should look like. We do have a set of standard fields that we use for things like notifications and dates to make sure the system functions that do those notifications and reminders can function. And those are up here. We have statuses that can be any list of statuses that are meaningful to you. We have for Work Central, we have kind of a two-level responsibility chain, if you will. We have a supervisor, and then we have assignee roles. So the supervisor is a single person. That's the one person that's at that kind of master, higher level. And then we have an assignees list. So we can fill these lists with anyone you like. Based on the need for that work order type. Each work order type can have a different list of potential supervisors and assignees. The supervisor and assignee roles are they serve a couple of functions. One is to get notifications. We can send email notifications upon any of the status changes or when something gets created or when it gets closed out, so people can be notified via their email. I'll show you a couple places where the assignee and supervisor roles can show you how to go straight to your list of work as you go. Some dates to know when it came in, when it was signed, when it was completed. We do have an auto schedule function that allows you to make this a recurring kind of work order. If it was something like this is a resident request, but if it were something different like a pump station that you had to inspect and maintain once a month, you could make this recurring on a monthly basis and just pick the interval and it'll recreate them for you every month or every, whatever that interval comes up. So, and then we have a description which came right from what the resident typed in here. This looks like one that was actually entered by the township because it said the resident called. So whether it's the resident submitting it through MTGo or someone with the township sitting in front of TRAISR in their office, they can record them either way. This was someone who actually picked up the phone from a resident calling them and they recorded it in here, same place. So it's open to whoever has access to it. Characterize the request with the description, and then everything from there down is based on how they wanted to basically track this request. This one happens to be high grass and weeds, but each of their work order types has a different list of nature of request. You can give them priority. It pulled the location from where they clicked on the map so they know where it goes. They wanted to know about contacting other agencies. It pulls, here's the caller information. And then we established a list of action types that go down the screen so you could establish a history of what happened to this work order over time as people addressed it in the township. A lot of these work order types are mostly the same as far as how they're laid out, contact information and all the actions 1 through 5, that kind of stuff. But things like the nature of the request, those drop downs will change based on which work order type I'm in. That kind of shows how a work order makes it all the way from the MTGo application into TRAISR and then down to a specific person who's been tasked with addressing that problem, right? Being the supervisor and the assignees here on this work order. That's kind of the full run of what happened. A couple more things about work orders. We have the ability to, I wanted to show you where the assignee and the supervisor comes in. So down here we have the ability in TRAISR not only to view by work order type, but you can also view it by status. So remember, if you just want to see anything that's new or in progress, you can just turn those on. It'll show you all of them regardless of type. You can also see the stuff that's assigned to me and the stuff that I supervise. So it's specific to your login. If I were a supervisor, I could just come in here and say, show me all the code violation problems that I supervise, and I'll just get
All right, and if you're only responsible for certain work order types, you'd only see those listed. Eric's logged in as an admin account, so he's got every one of them listed.
Right. So
yeah, interface for that.
Yeah, that's why this list is so long. We're logged in with our account, and that's why I don't have anything assigned to me because I don't really do any work there. This account is just our admin account. So yeah, that's another way that you can use these supervisor and assignee fields. I wanted to jump to another example of someone we did this with. I'm going to jump into my other browser here. We have North Huntingdon, PA, which is a township out in western PA. Contacted us with a similar request. They've been using this for quite a bit longer, probably over a year now. This is their homepage, their website. They actually replaced the function that was here that was just a simple text form, contact us type form. What's your name and address and a quick explanation. They replaced that with our citizen reporter here. So you'll notice a similar, I'm going to say don't allow because I'm not in that town either, but I'm not physically there. So you'll see a similar setup here. The pop-up that gives the resident some direction. One thing I wanted to show you here with North Huntingdon, we do have the ability to keep you from submitting a request outside of the town that you're talking about. If I'm someone that lived outside of town and I just wanted to put something out here, let's say I have a park and tree problem, same kind of thing. If I want to submit a report and I want to click to add my address and I try to click outside of here, it's going to see that I'm not clicking within the township, and it's going to tell me, the township's not responsible for the spot you clicked on. So they all kind of work this way, but we use the township boundary as kind of a fence to make sure that all the requests they get are actually their jurisdiction. So a similar look and feel to it, but broken up with different types based on what they wanted to see, the type of problem, details, the name, the email that we require, phone, address kind of stuff. Report it button submits the request. It goes straight into their system. Once it's there, we come into Work Central. This is North Huntingdon Township's Work Central instance, and then we all, of course, have all their citizen request work order types. They have 124 active road problem work orders. So you'll see they come all over the place. They show up. As I zoom in, I can click to see. This one's actually got a number of them here. You'll notice that the numbers are a little different. It'll show me 4 here, but it's only 2 based on the ones I have turned on here. So I don't know if that's confusing or not. Here's one that's in progress. We can open that up. And of course, the work order looks different, but it matches the form that's on the reporter. So tracking what happened in this case, they actually have some of the text from their code ordinance in here that they can cite and then send a letter out to the resident. We can create form letters and put the fields and the data from these requests directly on those letters and allow you to either print them or email them right from TRAISR. We have this email button, which will email them. If you have their email address, it can email the letter right to them from there. We do Outlook integration with this, so if you use Office 365 or Exchange, we can integrate TRAISR with your Outlook, and these emails can actually come from your email address. A couple more things about work orders in general. You can link assets and you can link more than one asset to a work order if you'd like. If say a request refers to three different people that left their trash out on the same day, you could link it to all 3 properties if you liked. Just for example, you can add those images. They come in from the work order right here at the bottom. You can also link documents. This is used for letters that you might receive from them. You could link it. You could scan it and link a PDF in here or anything else like that. We don't have that the costs that are enabled for this, but we do have the ability in TRAISR to track expenses associated with work orders, whether it's labor, whether it's inventory, whether it's vehicle costs. We can allow you to track all that stuff in TRAISR. It's quite involved. It's as detailed or it's as simple as you like, based on your need.
And that can certainly be another demo if anyone wants to see that.
Yeah, I could do a full hour on that easy. So I just wanted to mention that you can do that kind of stuff, and then we do have pretty powerful reporting in here where we can report out things like how many work orders were processed in a month, how many came in, how many are still out there, how many are completed. Excuse me. I wanted to show you one of those reports quick. I have so the nice thing about this, because the system is tracking it all, we can kind of summarize the work as it came in. This is just a work order summary. I'm going to select all these types, and I'm going to select all the statuses. I'm going to say, show me everything associated with the request date for the last 2 weeks. I can say, just show me the summary, or show me the details, or show me both. So if I show that, this is a way that TRAISR takes those requests that came in. So this first page is a kind of a bar chart. Excuse me. There we go. This first page is just a bar chart showing what types came in and what their statuses are at this point. And then we can actually click through the details. So this will list them all out. Everything from that first page is listed out in detail. It's just a good sample of what we can do with the data once it's in here, as kind of a management tool to see what kinds of things are coming in and how your staff is reacting to them.
Eric, if I may add a couple things. Number one, Township, Bucks County is a municipality about 46,000, right, Nick? So this is this is just one of many, and North Huntington is a similar size. I think maybe a little bit smaller, but we have a solution regardless of the size of municipality or size of the territory you're looking to cover. So we're very, very excited about the outcome of this new central. The feedback that we've gotten from our clients have been exceptional, and in our business perceptions reality, if you have a responsive staff, then people are going to feel good about their local government. I think Eric has said a lot. Is there, Jen, any questions in the queue that we may need to address?
She's muted. Hold on.
Yep.
I don't see any though at this point. But I just like to again kind of follow up with if anyone's interested in a more detailed demo, we can always do a Zoom demo privately to your agency organization as well. We can set that up really at any time.
Yeah, that was going to be part of my close, Brian. Is that my plan is to follow up with as many of you as possible over the next week to 10 days. Some folks on the call, we already have a Zoom set up. There's others that we would welcome that opportunity. And again, to specifically get into the weeds, if you will, about your specific applications in your specific towns. So be on the lookout for an email from me requesting some additional personal time with your own personal situations. We would welcome that opportunity. So, Nick, you want to add anything else before we wrap things up here?
Brian, you have to unmute him. Okay.
I did.
Thanks. No, I just want to again say that we are really appreciative of how useful of a tool this is. We've actually already begun work on building out the permit function. I know Eric has been doing a lot of that with our building department, and we're really well on our way to becoming a TRAISR town through and through.
Terrific. I want to put you on the spot a little bit, though. Can you just briefly explain to the audience the ease of use of dealing with our staff? One thing, I know we have a limited time today, but I want to emphasize how important is customer support and customer services to TRAISR. I believe that's probably the biggest game changer that we have versus our competitors in the marketplace is that Brian on down, we embrace customer service and we try to get back to people as quickly as possible. Nick, can you share any of your experiences?
Yeah, so whenever I don't hear back from Eric in more than about 10 minutes, I start to get worried because that's usually the high end for his response time. Yeah, both he and Amber throughout the build process, I know we're kind of a unique situation because I'm on the admin side, so I'm not a boot on the ground as much as some of the others, and so they were very patient with us in communicating, and Eric and Amber both, as we're still, really kind of getting all the little minor tweaks worked out. They've been fantastic to work with, and I've had several projects that I've been dealing with, professionals from outside companies, and you guys have by far been the best, the easiest to work with, the most knowledgeable, and the most flexible for sure. So I've been very, very impressed.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to, for the audience, we like to manage expectations. Is that our goal is to try to get back to someone within 30 minutes. So, but Eric's got an egg timer on his desk for 10, so as well as Amber. So, anyway, my colleagues on our sales and support side are phenomenal. They're just a terrific group of professionals who really know the business, really knows GIS, committed to customer service and delighting our clients. I don't think we would have had this level of growth over the last several years without that backbone of our colleagues on the support team. Brian, am I forgetting anything before we want to sign off, or you have anything to say?
No, just thank everybody who did participate, and we look forward to following up with any of you if you would like us to follow up with you. But Dan will reach out, and let us know if you'd like any more information or, again, a more personal demo.
Terrific. Eric, want to thank you very much for your in-depth presentation. And Nick, we value you as a client and as a friend. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule as well. Like I said, you got a pretty big municipality that you're helping to run, and taking 45 minutes of your day is both valued and appreciated. Last chance. Any questions before we sign off? Again, my name is Dan Reevy. I will be following up with you all in the next week or so. And in the interim, if you want to reach out to us, feel free to give us a call.
I just unmuted all if anyone wants to jump in with a question. But
what's that?
I just unmuted all.
Oh, okay.
But if anyone did, some people didn't want to chat. That's all right. We can again follow up later.
Okay. I just want to leave you all my phone number in case you want to reach me personally between now and next week. Cell is 267-280-3806. Or my email is dreavy, DREAVY at TRAISR, TRAISR.com. Folks, we hope you have a good, safe, and fun-filled weekend. We thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon. You all have a great day. Thank you for participating.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.